Today we are reporting why the intersection of Fair Street and Main Street is the worst intersection within the city of Olney, Illinois, especially when it comes to vehicles being illegally operated by citizens with driver license who should had their license removed, taken away, and been charged or fined with criminal action by the state's attorney, and following that, their driver's license suspended and removed. As you can see, this intersection, the white pedestrian light is on. So when the white pedestrian light comes on, that gives all individuals the right to proceed and walk across within the crosswalk. But as we know, drivers, especially within the turn lane, have been illegally, intentionally making illegal turns off of Main Street on to Fair Street, while pedestrians such as I have been walking within the crosswalk. And as you can see, the white line was on. It's counting down now. It's the green. Now it's zero. Caution for the drivers. And we're going to watch when it turns green, the lights, and pedestrian white. This is very dangerous. What needs to be done is the city of Olney needs to fix their lights at this intersection to prevent. See this man right here? He's turning while pedestrian light was on. So if I or someone was walking across a pedestrian line and the person was to swipe around the corner, did not stop behind that line, look before crossing, they would have hit me, or as an individual did, they intentionally tried to push by me, as I'll show you where I was at the time. When the light turns white for the pedestrian, it will also turn green. Alright, I'm going to walk. I was about right here. The vehicle comes swiping around right here, rubbed up against me, and went forced its way and drove continuously down on this lane right here. As you see, this is a very dangerous intersection. The city of Olney needs to do as I instruct. They need to make it a red light instead of a green light for individuals like this individual coming here making a turn. As we see, it's making a turn on the red. It's not, it's stopping here. Alright, it's going to turn, we call it. No, you go, ma'am. You can go. You just go ahead. She's going to let me. Now that's what should have happened that day. But that's what should have happened. The person stopped. Supposed to stop there, look, see me, and she's always a pedestrian. I'll let her know. We call she go ahead. That's what a driver supposed to do. But instead of just come swiping around the corner at normal speed like they're going down Main Street, going around the corner and not stopping at and before the crosswalk, before looking to see if there's anyone crossing the crosswalk, before proceeding. And this is why it needs to be a red light at the turn instead of green. So when a pedestrian has the white light to turn onto North Fair, by any driver would have a red light instead of a green light. With the white light, which would mean that a vehicle in the turn lane would have to stop and the pedestrian would walk across. And the other problem is vehicles are allowed to make right-hand turns on a red light. But still, pedestrians have the right of way, especially when the lights go on, getting the right of way. Cars operated by drivers ain't supposed to make turns and to be called individuals walking crosswalks or pedestrians. They're supposed to stop, but that's not the case in the city of Olney. They don't do that. They'll run you over. Lie. So, in addition to a red light being put up at the turn at this location, while a pedestrian has the white light, there needs to be a sign put up on the pole that says no turns on red. Alright. But that's not going to work either. Because down at the intersection of East Street and Main Street, down where I live, there are green arrows giving vehicles making left-hand turns to go. There's also pedestrian lines. There's also lights there. But the drivers ignore it. At times there are drivers that go through the lights that are red, and a majority of people just come zooming down the road and stop and remain within the crosswalk. Now, and there have been times where I have stepped off to go into the road and the person almost hit me because they were recklessly driving, did not reduce speed before the intersection, like you're supposed to, like that woman did. And at the same time, they lie, and the cops and state's attorney and the government is corrupt around here. Who do you think they're going to believe? That's right, the liars, the ones they grow up with. So the only way to fix the problem of reckless driving within the city of Olney is to put surveillance cameras at the intersections, such as Fair and Main, where I'm at. The next intersection down by the bank, by the courthouse, and the bank, Walnut and West Main, and the other one down at East Street and Main Street. And the most dangerous is here at Fair and Main, and the other one's East and Main. So that law enforcement officers can continuously see vehicles or people or anything happening in public occurring around the cameras, and they can take note of criminal activity other than vehicle crimes, and hopefully individuals will stop recklessly driving because it's parking on and across the sidewalk, feeling to reduce speed, hitting someone, or any type of criminal activity. Hey, there's a ticket. Cop doesn't have to be unseen. He got evidence. It's time to call law enforcement, the government, the state's attorney to wake up and stop this corrupted, two-faced, low-down run city government and state government and county government. It's time that these individuals are arrested on motor vehicle and other crimes within the city, county, Richland, the state of Illinois. And that at the same time, this would send a message to individuals. If you refuse to obey the traffic laws, you're going to end up losing your license or end up in prison or end up hurting someone real bad. It's going to cost you a lot of liability along with the government. And when also there are law enforcement officers at times who sit at intersections like they did down at the intersection that I recorded, a law enforcement officer sitting there watching a driver in a red band park on and across a pedestrian line and not do nothing but see down the road and perform his duties in order to allow that person to violate the law. This is what goes on in the city of Olney, County, Richland, state of Illinois all the time. This is why these elected officials get elected into office all the time. You let me commit crimes, I'll vote and elect you back in office, and this is why this community is run down and is continuing to get worse. Stop complaining, citizens. If you want this community to get better, there's only one way to fix it, with Brian James O'Neill II. It's time to put those surveillance cameras up. It's not just regular citizens. I even got recordings of detectives, OPD, we call deputy sheriffs, law enforcement officers violating the pedestrian line crosswalk as well, even with the signs that they put out at the waste of time of Mayor Vaughn and the City Council's time, the taxpayers' expense. At the same time, we need to stop this type of conduct. And by putting these surveillance cameras on, you are saving lives. Now, getting back, this is the intersection I want to let everyone know that Mrs. Dozer, her husband who had passed away, who was on the city council, I think a police chief at one time for the OPD, appeared with another gentleman, citizen, who's blind, and addressed the city council as I have recorded during one of my news reports and placed it on YouTube. An individual addressed the city council about putting at the intersection, especially here at Fair, because it's in the middle of town to get across, a device that makes cuckoo noises. All right, the person's blind, they can't see right. That cuckoo noise goes off, right? There's a green light here, not time. We call, but we'll wait, and there'll be a pedestrian white light, as you can see right here. That cuckoo noise. Blind person steps in the road, person makes a legal turn. Guess what? They're dead.